Good evening, and welcome to the very first happy hour with Cooper at Fort Berens. So this is our attempt at sort of a weekly wine tasting stream, maybe even like a variety hour. So it's the thought process came out because it's you know COVID and all this coronavirus stuff has really stuck us to our houses. I want us still to be able to enjoy, as a community, enjoy wine, enjoy food, talking about the things we normally would if you came into the winery. I want you to feel that you're no farther away from us than you were before. So that's what this is about. So we're going to go over some of our new spring release wines, talk about those, talk about me. We might even have a surprise guest to talk to, somebody pretty cool, if I don't say so myself. And so that's what we're going to do. We're trying to really support practicing social distancing. Uh, even with our interview, we're doing it at least 2 meters apart so that nobody's touching anybody. And so we'll get started right here. So I'm Brett. Some of you may have met me, some of you may have not. I am the tasting room manager of Fort Berens. I've been here since my first day was January 13th, I think it was. And I came from Edmonton, Alberta. I started off in the food and beverage industry. Oh God, I don't want to say how old I am, but 15-ish years ago when I was 15. I started off as a dishwasher and then a fry cook and salad cook and things like that at a restaurant called the Outback Steakhouse. And eventually that took me to going to cooking school to become a chef. And during cooking school, I fell in love with the wine courses I took. And over time, I took more wine courses to slowly become a sommelier. And after working as a sommelier for a few years at a company called Alcana, which is had the biggest wine stores in the country for a while, Wine and Beyond, I got in touch with Rolf and Heleen here at Fort Berens and was wooed and enchanted by this beautiful place and the wonderful wine here. And I'm super excited to be the tasting room manager today. So we'll I see about 17 people here. So let's, anybody want to say hi? Oh, I see Kim Lawton says hi. Anybody else want to say hi? Tell me where you're from, where you're streaming from, so I can give you a shout out. And while I'm waiting for people to kind of talk, I will start opening my bottles of wine, and we'll start talking about what we're going to taste next. So the first thing we're going to taste, as I don't see anybody messaging yet, is going to be our Pinot Gris. So this is the 2019 Pinot Gris, brand new, released, a few days ago actually. So this will, a lot of you, hopefully if you're members, will have received it in your spring box. This is one of the coolest Pinot Gris I've had in quite a while actually. So it's very, very different from what your traditional Pinot Gris would be. Nice to see you're from Summerland, Kim Lawton. Thank you very much. So as I pour it, this is a very clear, light, I'd say pale lemony yellow for a Pinot Gris. I don't know how many of you have had our Pinot Gris before, but this one is I'd say I've had a few of them. This one is a bit innovative. Hi, Paula McLeod from Regina. That's awesome. Somebody from Saskatchewan. That's really cool. Okay, so our Pinot Gris, I don't know if any of you have had it before, so we'll start with our tasting. The way I taste this, I like to look at the color and hold the glass so you can see the light through it, so you can see how if there's any flaws or if it's cloudy. Ours is definitely not. The next thing I do after I look at it is I swirl it a little bit and then give it a sniff. So what that does is when you swirl it, it agitates the wine, gets a little oxygen into it, and releases more of the aroma. Hi, Cara Murphy. Sorry, not Murpha, from Verdun. this is my first time streaming, so if I kind of stutter or say something, I apologize. I will get used to it. So I would like to invite you guys to take a sniff of your Pinot Gris if you have it with you. If you don't, I wish you did. And you can order our Pinot Gris from our website. Shameless plug. So yeah, so the very first thing when I sniff it, I'm looking for, what kind of fruits smell on it. I get lemon and like pineapple, maybe like something tropical like a mango right off the bat, which is different from a lot of Canadian Pinot Gris. Yes, you get lemon, but tropical fruit is not as common. You see it, but it's not as common. Ours is a little bit different. Hey, Robin from Lillooet, nice to see you. Our first Lillooetian. Okay, so now we've kind of signed it. Does anybody smell anything different from what I smell? Anything you have never smelled before? What do you think of the Pinot Gris if you've got it in front of you? I will wait a second to see if anybody replies. Ooh, 21 viewers now! Yay!
Awesome.
Oh no, we lost one. Okay, so hi George. And hi Devin, Pat from Williams Lake. Nice to see you both. This is great. I'm loving this. This is just I'm so happy that our community is tuning in and saying hi. So we'll take a taste now of the Pinot Gris. If anybody is drinking along with me, I would really love to hear what your thoughts are of the Pinot Gris. This will probably be your first chance trying the 2019. So I'm going to say I'm a big believer in the 3-sip rule. So your first sip clears your palate, gets you ready, tells you whether or not there's acidity or how refreshing it is, if it's sweet. Your second sip is where you really get the taste of the fruit and how the wine is. So the first sip is usually pretty quick, and I just switch it around, spit it out. Second sip for me is where I let it, I guess, luxuriate on my palate, and that's how I taste. That's where you're gonna really tell the complexity of the wine instead of just quaffing it. Now, of course, it's okay to quaff the wine too. Just we all like to drink wine on a patio and have a couple glasses. But when I'm tasting, I like to really let it feel. Hi, Christine and Tyrell from 100 Mile. So if any of you are tasting along with me, if you've already tasted and smelled, if any of you have noticed any differences from what it is on the nose versus on the palate, please let me know. I think it's really cool. This one really opens up with that tropical fruit notes on the palate, and you do get a little bit almost something slightly vegetal, which is really cool for Pinot Gris. Pinot Gris tend to be light and floral and very, can be mostly citrus. This is definitely got some depth to it. There's many different ways you can say why it has depth to it. Some say because we have such a hot season, and so the grapes get riper, and so it gets this, it ripens faster, and so the flavors do get more tropical because of that. But you will talk to many sommeliers, and they all have different opinions and to why something like a Pinot Gris will get tropical. That being said, we're kind of zooming along here. Don't see anybody really talking about how they're tasting the wine, but maybe for next time you guys will open a bottle with me. why don't we start off talking to our guest? So our guest, most of you will know who she is. She is the lovely and amazing Heleen, part of the wonderful dynamic duo that at least hired me and got me on. Is Heleen got her? Let me know when we've called Heleen.
Yep.
Okay. Hello, Heleen.
Hey.
How are you doing today? Ooh, I can see her right in front of me on the screen. That's awesome. Hi, Armin, just before we start interviewing Heleen. How are you today, Heleen?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining me here on our first kind of foray into the world of streaming.
Yep. Exciting stuff.
Being my guinea pig and my hamster as I try the interview process. Hopefully it'll be painless. So I guess we'll start off with is, who are you? How did you, tell me about yourself, how you got into wine, who is Heleen?
That's gonna be a long story, Brett.
Okay.
I'll focus on the wine part of it.
Cliff notes.
I don't know, everything.
No. Okay.
Yeah, so, well, the love for wine, for me, was really something that I have grown up with. So my parents started experiencing a little bit, or, trying out wines in the 70s.
Okay.
That's how old I am, sorry. And, but anyway, so, that was something that, there was always a bottle of wine on the table, and we would go, in my youth, we would go on holidays to France and visit wineries and stuff over there. And
Tough life.
I know. So, so that was, for the longest time, was an interesting thing. And then later on, when I went to university and, started experimenting with wines of my own, at some point I ran into Rolf. And I think we shared a love for good wine and good foods from the start. So he actually, convinced me by inviting me for a tremendous dinner, and that's how we got along with.
So Rolf is a romantic, is what you're saying?
Oh, totally, absolutely. Did you not think so?
She just put me on the spot. Thank you very much. I don't want to get in trouble.
Oh boy.
Okay, so that's how you got into wine.
Yes.
But the transition, so how did you go from getting into wine and then Fort Berens? How did it start?
Well, it started by becoming a banker first, which totally doesn't make sense, right? Of course you start off after university, you try and find a job and all that. But after several years, Rolf and I, we started talking about having kids. And then thinking, how would it be for them to grow up in an urban environment? I grew up in a very rural environment, so I really, really enjoyed that, to be able to run outside and, just do whatever, have that freedom to go and explore. And so that was one of the things that was on our minds. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing was probably that we didn't see ourselves in our corporate careers forever.
Yeah.
And then I think the last thing was going on a holiday to Canada, and then the next year going again on our honeymoon at that time. And we said, well, it's amazing that they, have vineyards here and grow grapes and make wines. And that really inspired us to explore into, try and find a new life for ourselves.
Well, I'm so thankful you did. Because I am so excited to be working with you guys. I've had so much fun. I have a blast with you. Well, and Rolf, of course. I have a blast with Rolf. For everybody, just so everybody knows, Rolf is doing our tech stuff, and he's running the the whole thing. So he will. I may make jokes to try and get a laugh out of him as we go. So we've talked about how Fort Berens started, but why Lillooet then? Like you say, Canada. You chose Canada, but why Lillooet? What drove you here?
Well, we did. I mean, Rolf and I are rather thorough, or we've done this pretty thoroughly. So there was a lot of research involved and a lot of years of, planning and stuff. But well, and one of the things is that we actually, after having visited BC several times, we went to check out Ontario because we said, well, if we haven't seen Ontario, then we don't know what we're talking about.
Well, what's wrong with Ontario?
There's nothing wrong with Ontario. Absolutely not. But we flew from Ontario to here, and all of a sudden the temperature was like 20 degrees higher. The sun was shining. There was mountains around, and we said, yes, this is really what we were looking for. So, and then Lillooet was obviously starting off trying to find a place in BC to start our winery. We visited several places, and we had found Richard Cleave as a consultant at the time, and he really helped us out and checked out different sites and told us, no, that's absolutely a no-go area and stuff like that. But then he said at some point, he's like, why don't you check out Lillooet? And he was talking about Lillooet as if he knew it like really well. And then we got in touch with Harry McWaters as well. And
which is so cool. Harry McWaters, he's like one of my idols. Like that if some of you may know, Harry McWaters is like considered the godfather of BC wine.
Absolutely. And he's worked for years with Richard, and we were so lucky to be able to work with them. And anyway, so at some point we visited Lillooet, and that was in the summer of 2008. We met with Crystal Rochard, who has a small vineyard here in Lillooet, and at the time they had an experiment going, a grape growing experiment, and so that's how we got in touch with Crystal, and then a while later we met up with Harry and Richard to check out this property that we're on right now, because that had come to our attention that would be coming up for sale, and so we drove out here, and it was Harry in the front seat and Richard right next to it, and we were like the little kids in the back. And then Richard says to us, you know what, I've never actually been to Lillooet. And we're like, what the heck? Anyways, but yeah, so we fell in love with this area. It's gorgeous here, but the climate is very similar to the south of Okanagan. There's lots of opportunities. It is much more the Canada that we were looking for. Very rural, fantastic views, and yeah, it's I think the best area to grow grapes and make wine.
Well, she's biased, but she's right. Also, when she says very rural, she means very rural. I have been from a fairly large city, depending on whose perspective it's from. It was definitely a bit of a shock to me to go from 1.5 million people to 2,500 or so. But it is definitely really cool here. So, what is your favorite? Not just here, not just what we make. What is your favorite varietal? What wine, even before you came here, made you want to drink?
Well, to me, the favorite grape variety, the one that I can get most excited about is definitely Riesling.
Okay.
And I have, obviously.
Yes, you brought your bottle of Riesling with you.
I brought a bottle of Riesling with me. But Rieslings are very versatile. They have a fabulous acidity, and that's one of the things I really enjoy. You can drink them with anything. And because of that acidity, they stay fresh and crisp and always interesting and exciting. You can, age the wines forever, which is amazing for a white. So I think that is my favorite.
Well, thank you very much for that insight. I feel a lot about the same way about Riesling. Riesling is just it can be sweet, it can be off dry, it can be dry.
Yeah.
It just changes so much with what you do with it, and we have shown that with our different Rieslings,
Yeah.
which I'll talk about over it. So since you've been here, like what do you like? What is the thing you like to do most here? Like, what is your favorite activity on the winery? Not just in the area, but on the winery.
So working, you mean?
Yes. Well,
working.
Oh,
Well,
when you
working.
get up in the morning and walk around the vineyard, or if it's playing, probably not, working on Excel spreadsheets or anything like that, but
It can be very exciting too, actually. I am, after all, a banker. I've done it a few times. But no, I mean, what is very exciting here, obviously, is to walk around and to, there's always a site that is stunning, and whether it's, there's lots of sunshine here, but even, when it rains or snows or whatever, there's fabulous views. And it's often, where we are, it can be thunderstorming in the one corner and then it's sunny in the other, and it's just all in the same time. What I like to do is obviously I'm not the vineyard manager, but I like to, be in the vineyard, and I'm very involved in what's going on over there. And then one of my other hobbies that I call work is landscaping. So I like to, grow plants and just see what they do, and trying to improve the gardens around the property all the time. Yeah.
So what she just said is she's living the dream because her hobbies are her career.
Yes.
It's
And then what I do the most and what I really enjoy too is just often I get to drive and be out of Lillooet, going to visit customers in Vancouver, in Prince George, in Kamloops, in Kelowna, everywhere. So yeah, that's very exciting too.
I enjoy that part too. I like driving through the mountains at the top, well, not down, but with my sunroof open and enjoying the sun. It's just so freaking beautiful here.
Yes. Absolutely.
So I wanted to say, hey, Robin, welcome to the Riesling Club. I'm glad you're part of it. I'm loving all of this engagement from people. Thank you so much for joining in. We've had quite a few people talking and watching, so I'm really happy. So that's probably, thank you so much, Helene. That's probably about the end of my questions for Helene today. We'll move on to our tasting our Riesling here next. I'll dump out the last of my Pinot Gris. I'm really not drinking right now like Helene.
I'm not working. I'm not working.
She's not working. I'm working. She's just a guest. So I will switch to pouring our Riesling that I have open here. So this is our 2019 Riesling. For anybody who wants to follow along. Oh, hello, Mother. I can't believe you used that name too, Minnie Ma. That's what we call her because she's like 100 pounds and the size of like a little China doll. So we call her the Mini Ma. But thank you for joining in, Mom. I know you won't have a bottle of white with you, but maybe you can start drinking some red so I feel like I'm not alone. So now that we have our Riesling. So the Riesling, it's fairly interesting to me. In color, our Riesling is actually similar in color to the Pinot Gris 2019. Light, very pale. I'd say this is like just lemony. Is anyone drinking Riesling right now? Thank you, Rolf, for being my help. So very different from the Pinot Gris, like just drastically different. There's apple and pear, and like when I say apple, I say like honey crisp. And there is a bit of lemoniness on this one, but not the same as the Pinot Gris. I'd say just like that freshly juiced lemon, whereas the Pinot Gris has more of like the lemons on the vine smell to it. I'm ready to taste Riesling with you too, Kara. Nice to see Cindy as well has her Riesling open and ready to go. So if any of you smell anything on the Riesling that's different from just like apple and pear, and I almost, anyone get like a little bit of a lemoniness or a meloniness, and then our Riesling is pretty Alsatian. That being said, Alsace versus Germany, just Alsace tends to have a little bit of it's a more southern, and the Rieslings tend to be drier on average, at least the ones that I've tried. We'll take a sip now. If anybody else has any other scent notes, please let me know. There's one that I haven't said that I'm kind of hoping people will say that is kind of like the Riesling smell. If anybody can get it, I'll give you a high five next time I see you. So again, we'll do the 2-sip. So what I love about this Riesling is it's just so, like, where the Pinot Gris is bright and refreshing, and this has that. This is such a smooth, silky feel behind the refreshing acidity. It has a big punch of acidity and has a bit of sweetness to it. And you get that apple, you get pear, and then you get this just nice silky feel on the palate. And I think it's so cool. Yes, Deborah, we do offer tours. It's kind of on a case by case basis. Give me a call when the COVID is done, and if you want to come have a tour, we'll definitely set one up. I thought you were supposed to keep that red gold for me, Mom. Oh wait, I have a ton here that I can drink. Sydney, I am super jealous of you. I want to go to Alsace, whether it's for a honeymoon or not. That is like my motherland. I cannot wait. Cheers to you, George. So other than pear and apple and lemon, if anybody got like a bit of a graphite-y, like mineral, almost metally taste just on that on a finish, you'll have got the traditional Riesling tasting note. Some people call it petrol. I'm just loving how people are now starting to interact with each other. We're creating a family. This is fantastic. I'm so happy. Thank you everybody for joining in. Does anybody have any flavors that they got on the Riesling that I haven't mentioned, or anything they want to say about the Riesling other than that it's great? Thanks, Deborah. I'm really excited to have you bring friends. We're hoping to keep doing this for a long time, not just till the end of COVID, but after. And we're really excited by this. It's been really fun getting it started and getting it ready to go. And so is that question for me or for somebody else? My favorite Riesling dish to have with Riesling, I like to do it with seafood. I like to do it with like a butter poached lobster, and with I like lobster generally with tarragon, or maybe something like a slightly bitey or sweeter herb. Sometimes like rosemary, which isn't traditionally a lobster thing, but I like rosemary in my lobster, and anything like rosemary, tarragon, they go so well with the Riesling. So that's really, for me, I like lobster with my Riesling. Thai food is great too. Kim, I totally agree with you. Like a good coconut curry, like a red coconut curry with some tofu, and because the tofu gives like a fattiness and like a great texture that goes wonderfully with the acidity of the Riesling. I just have a thing for tofu. Sorry, well, Colleen, our one of our tasting room associates, is on the line too. Hi, Colleen. Nice to see you. You know, so soon after I last saw you. So we've kind of gone through our wine. So I think for today, I think we'll probably start to wrap up. Next week, we're gonna we tasted our classic Riesling this week. We're gonna do our dry Riesling next week, and we will also explore the 2019 Rosé, which I'm super excited for. I'm a big fan of it. It is. I won't talk too much about it. I don't want to ruin next week's video. We'll talk about the rosé, not just with me, but I'm going to try and get us a guest that I will announce closer to the date, who will talk about the rosé and maybe how it was made with me. So for everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I will ask you to like and subscribe, just like every other YouTuber does. Like and subscribe, follow our channel. We'll be doing weekly videos for now, every Friday at 5. And we'll innovate and bring other things too as we can go. Shout out to Spray Creek. Okay, yeah, so please like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. Keep an eye on our YouTube. Live streams will be on Fridays, as I said. We may also upload other videos as we go, little shorts and things like that. And look forward to seeing you all again weekly and in the winery when we when we're allowed to be near people again. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you found it was entertaining. So excited to meet some of you in the winery, but at least now we get to meet each other and talk and develop that relationship that we would have gotten this summer. And hopefully, we still get some of that chance. Hopefully, things do open up here and as soon as they can. Until then, please stay safe. And to my mother, Reds will be a couple weeks from now once I'm done exploring the new spring wines. If anybody didn't catch it, my mother only drinks really deep, heavy reds. I've tried to break her of that. I've tried to get her to round herself out. She just won't listen. Okay, thanks everybody.